Hi, I'm Lisa Engel-Franklin, and I'm a rainbow energy healing practitioner. And now I'm doing interviews. And today, my guest is Susan Walter. And Susan Walter, I've been really attracted to her artwork. She's doing a bunch of different things. She does singing bowls and a few other things. So, Susan, thank you so much for being here. Please introduce yourself and tell us a little
Well,
bit about your background.
the first, thanks for inviting me. I appreciate it and you taking the time. Um, where was it you want to start? There are so many things that I do.
Yes, exactly.
Um,
Why don't we do this? Why don't we talk a little bit about your background and maybe how
okay.
you got started with what you're doing and talk about a few different things.
Okay. For me, it actually started for me at the ages of 4 and 6, where I had
Wow.
near-death experiences.
Oh,
And during those experiences, I was introduced to some of my own personal angels.
mm-hmm.
Um, And from there, I was just able to see my own angels all the time.
Wow. That's exciting.
Um, grow, yeah, and it got so you just didn't talk about that stuff.
Hmm. Hmm.
So it wasn't really something I shared. And then in 1997, they started showing me everybody else's too, and were very adamant that I was to start drawing these for
Wow.
people. And yeah, at the time I had 2 teenage sons and 2 toddlers, so I was a little bit busy.
I was gonna say you're preoccupied with a few different things.
Yeah, just a few. And one other minor detail at that time, I had no idea how to really draw. Yeah,
Oh,
I'd sketched a little bit because I liked the thought of being an artist and creating, but I hadn't really been inspired.
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, so now I'd got my inspiration, but I hadn't taken the time up to that point to learn how. So yeah, I literally spent the first probably 6, 7 months just arguing with them, going, why me?
They chose you.
Yeah. So I've been doing the angel portraits for 20 some years now, but
Oh,
yeah, and that just, after a while, I just continued to study different metaphysical subjects throughout the years. And then in 2011, um, I was just starting to play with mandalas, and I had gotten an old antique toy called the Hoot Nanny.
I don't know that, and I know about antique toys, but I have never heard that.
But it's this grandfather to the spirograph.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And it's wonderful for
Nanny.
creating mandalas with. So I was literally just taking the line work from you using that toy,
Mm-hmm.
um, and creating some mandalas with that, and it was really enjoying it. And local gentleman here, healer here in Kansas City, mentioned the solfeggio frequencies to me.
Wow. Yeah.
And that's kind of what started that journey. So yeah, he introduced me to 6 of what's called the earthly solfeggio frequencies.
Mm-hmm.
Well, me being me, I started doing research, and I found out there's not 6 solfeggio frequencies. There's actually 9 sets, 9 frequencies, for a total of 81.
Wow. Oh, wow. Well, I notice with a lot of your art, um,
Mhm.
you have like the chakra colors going on all over the place. And that's one
Right.
of the things that drew me in, to your artwork is the
Mm.
color, 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 color. I pay attention to that because I know behind that there's vibrations and stuff.
Uh-huh. Yeah, because when you get down to it, everything's frequency. Yeah,
Exactly.
because an atom is an atom.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah, it's what frequency it's vibrating at determines what its purpose is. And then there's there's no difference between an atom that's in your heart and an atom that's in the table
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
or the floor we walk on. It's
Right. Everything's energy. Yeah.
and really when you and every single every atom is still what 99.9% something air.
Oh, okay. I didn't think of it like that, that it's air.
Yeah, they're
Oh,
really
wow.
just mostly air.
Hmm.
So, it makes you wonder what it is we're creating and manifesting in this world.
Exactly, exactly. Now, that's interesting because I'm learning more about the elements, the earth,
Mm-hmm.
the land, the water, now the air. Oh boy, this is
Uh-huh.
getting interesting.
Yes.
So,
Yeah,
um,
so it took me 8 years to complete that project of all 81 mandalas.
wow, wow. That's really,
Mhm.
it must have been very intensive, if it took you that long to do.
Yeah, each mandala took me anywhere from 35 to 45 hours to create.
Wow, wow. With your artwork, you work with several different mediums.
Yes, I do.
For the artists that are watching this, like me, we're interested in mediums, like which, that you use. Maybe you want to talk a little bit about that, not a lot, but, touch on it.
Um, my first love is color pencil,
Oh, okay.
particularly the Prismacolor, and that is what I started. I got into that with the angel portraits. Um, And then when it was time to start doing the mandalas, yeah, I didn't even consider another medium at that time. I
Wow.
jumped, those were all created also with colored pencil, at least the originals are.
Hmm. Hmm.
And then, over time I started, I'd always been intrigued by watercolor. And when I first started doing the angel portraits, I tried to do them with watercolor. Watercolor, that medium is a lifetime study.
Yeah. For me, it's very, very difficult.
Uh-huh. Yeah,
It's hard to control. You got to know what
uh-huh.
you're doing.
Yeah, the main thing is, water. How much or how little do you really want to use to,
Yeah. Dry brush or whatever. Yeah. Yeah.
uh-huh, yes. Uh-huh. And then, played a little bit off and on over the years with acrylics as well.
Hmm.
And then I really started getting back into using acrylics here, uh, about probably 3 years ago.
Oh, wow. Okay. Okay. I when I first learned my art in school, like grade
Mhm.
school, well, not grammar school, but high school, we were working with oils. And up until then, it had been other mediums, in the lower
Mhm.
grades, but oils. And then in college, I learned about gouache and stuff like that. So,
Yeah, I still have never played with oils at all. And to be
okay.
honest, I am a self-taught artist. Angel taught is actually the term I use the most. Because to date, I have still not taken an art class.
Wow. Wow. That's exciting to hear.
Mhm.
So that's encouraging for all the budding artists out there that, you don't even have to. And that really, if that's really true with a lot of things, because I know people like with photography and different things like that, that they're self-taught artists in their field.
Yeah, and I think the most important thing with becoming an artist is the passion to do it and
Exactly.
and to stick with it and
Hmm.
practice
Hmm.
and know that you're gonna mess up and there's things you're gonna when you're done with them, you're gonna step back and look at it and go, I hate it, and it's gonna go straight to the trash can.
Right. Right.
And
But
that's
it's
okay.
it's practice, practice, practice. It's like that with anything,
Mhm.
music,
Uh-huh.
drawing, whatever. Yeah.
Right.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Hmm. So, well, that's really exciting to hear. Um, I was going to say, I noticed that, besides your artwork, let's go to a little different thing here, that you're involved in a lot of different things, the singing bowls.
Yes. Um, I fell in love with the singing bowls when there was a group that originally the group was started to study the Mayan calendar.
Mm,
And we always ended those, but with about 5 minutes or so of I think they had it like an 18-inch heart bowl.
wow.
And the second I heard it, I fell in love.
Wow.
It did. It's talk about a sound to me, at least to me, that feels like home. That's it.
I've never seen one in the shape of a heart.
Oh no, it was the
Okay.
heart chakra.
Oh,
It was the
oh, oh, oh,
heart chakra. It Yeah, and at the time, my kids, some of them were still, pretty young, and
uh-huh.
I didn't trust them to not break the bowls.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I started collecting the pounded Tibetan singing bowls,
Okay.
and I learned to play with those.
Okay.
And for those of you that have ever, though to me those are the most difficult to play because they are handmade, they're hand pounded, they're not perfectly round, they have some inconsistencies.
Mm-hmm.
So that makes them a little more difficult to play. So that's what I learned to play with. So
Mm-hmm.
then when my kids got older and I felt safe to, start, collecting those,
Mm-hmm.
it was very easy for me then to transition to playing the crystal bowls. And I
Wow.
probably had, started, was collecting the bowl, crystal singing bowls for probably 8 or 10 years before I started playing publicly.
Mm-hmm.
And to be honest, the public ones even started as a joke.
Ah.
Yeah, because that was a friend that has a yoga studio here,
Mm-hmm.
messaged me and a couple other friends at like 10 o'clock one Friday night going, hey, do you guys want to do something different at the yoga studio? And I said, I'll do a crystal singing balls, meditation thing. And, and I figured it was going to be a one and done.
Right.
No,
Right.
no, no. That very quickly turned into once a month.
Oh boy.
Yeah, and literally the very first one, at that point I had 3 bowls,
Mm-hmm.
and I literally we just did a love offering, and so I literally just took that money and bought another. So by the one the next month, I
Mm-hmm.
had 4 bowls, and then I had 5 bowls. And so within a very short time, I had a full set of chakra bowls. Yeah, and this was all right, really when I was was about a couple years into the mandala project, and
Mm-hmm.
was getting more and more into fully understanding and studying the solfeggio frequencies. So I was like, okay, I got to get solfeggio bowls. So which are, they are out there, but they
Okay.
are more difficult to find
Uh-huh. Because I was gonna
because
say, I've heard of the forks, the
yeah,
tuning forks, but I have
yeah,
never heard of bowls.
yeah, and there's something that just they happen in the creative process. It's not something the creators can even intend them to be a
Wow.
solfeggio bowl. It's
Wow.
just something that happens sometimes, that they
Mhm.
are just that perfect hertz frequency.
Wow.
So I very quickly switched over all my bowls to solfeggio frequency bowls, and I now have there are 9 bowls in my set at this time.
No. Wow.
And most of them are 432 because that's what you find the most.
Mm-hmm.
But I also have a 528, a 396, and a 417. And but just like 440A or 440 though, which is what people typically tune their instruments to.
Mm-hmm.
Then once you've got it tuned, then it can play a wide range of notes.
Oh wow. I didn't know
So
that.
that's why you can still, have a 432, and one can be an F, and one can be a B, and one can be a C. Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Well, I
Hmm.
mean, the thing that I find really interesting, because I'm sitting here thinking about this, I'm thinking, okay, she does the bowls. Okay, she does all this artwork, and then we're talking about, the chakras. I mean, everything is all tied together. Like the work that you're doing, it's just all, I want to say chakra based, but I mean, it all
Yeah.
revolves around that, because
Yeah,
everything,
it really at this point it does.
yeah.
Because like we said at the beginning, everything is frequency. Everything is
And
vibration.
a lot of
It-
people don't know it, but certain angels are with the different chakras, I mean, everything is
yes.
so
Mhm.
tied together that you're
It
doing.
is.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah, and like, the angels, when they speak to each other, they don't use what we would commonly think of as a language or words.
Hmm.
They use tones.
Okay. Because when I think of the angels, because I saw the energy and the color of the rays and things, that's what I
Hmm.
saw, so, and I'm
Hmm.
very visual color, art, and stuff like that. So
Hmm.
that's my thing. So when you're saying that, with the tone and I'm thinking, gee, I never thought of that at all.
Hmm.
So that's really exciting to hear. So One of the things that I wanted to ask you about, because you mentioned, the mandalas and stuff like that, and with your artwork, you've done some meditation cards. Do you want to talk
Yes,
about those?
sure. Here, to just give people an idea, I just, yeah, and they are six-sided, but and they each card does, because I have created one for each of the 81 mandalas, but it says on them, what frequency they are, kind of a brief 1 to 4 words about what that particular mandala is about, and then what set they're from.
Wow. Okay.
Because like I said, the earthly set, that was the very first set I did.
You have
Yeah,
how many different sets? You've got several.
there's 9 sets, and then each set has 9 in it.
Oh,
Because
wow.
the solfeggios, when those frequencies, they're all 3 digits with long. They in each one. Sorry, my cat has been joining me here. Yeah, each one of them, they add up to 3, 6, or 9.
Oh,
There
gee.
are
It's a
no
Tesla talked about.
there are no zeros in any of those frequencies.
Mm-hmm.
But it's all based on Pythagorean math and
Mm-hmm.
what we call sacred geometry.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of science involved in what the solfeggio frequencies are.
Oh, wow.
And each of the tones, each different hertz frequency can help you do different things.
Mm-hmm. Right. I know that there's certain ones for healing, for sleeping, for different things.
They're for sleeping, for waking your intuitive abilities, for helping bring balance and harmony to your personal relationships,
Mm-hmm.
particularly family relationships. Just all different things. And if you really want to get into some of the more esoteric stuff of it, things like every planet, every moon, every sphere in space puts off a frequency.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And they are finding that those are solfeggio frequencies.
Wow.
So when NASA has gone out into space and recorded the music of the spheres,
Mm-hmm.
and those are solfeggio frequencies. Our own sun puts off frequency 528, the frequency of divine love.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Gee, I missed that on Ancient Aliens. I didn't see that episode.
Yeah, I don't think it was on Ancient Aliens,
I
to be
know.
honest.
Gee, they need to get with the program here,
Yeah. So, I've even read some channeled materials
Mm-hmm.
saying that is how some of the different ET species travel through this galaxies and things. Is they use that as a mapping device, those frequencies that are put off by the spheres.
Oh, wow. Wow. Because I'm thinking air, they travel in air. And
Well, yeah. There are natural, I guess, portals that they
right,
travel through.
right. But
Yeah, and that's part of why the Earth, to my understanding, now, that part of what is so important about us and here in our little neck of the woods here, in our solar system, we have a natural portal right here in our own galaxy that is a very important one. And because we have been quarantined, for example, for so long,
mm-hmm.
that portal has not been accessible.
Oh.
And so as like I said, we're getting to some esoteric stuff here. But,
I know. This is like I wasn't planning on this, but this is really interesting. I like where it's going.
Yeah, that once we kind of reconnect,
Mm-hmm.
with our space brothers and sisters, and we become more evolved here, they'll be able to open up and use that portal once again.
That's what I
We're
was just
still a few
thinking.
years away from that.
Once the vibration gets higher and higher, yeah, that's what I
Yes.
was thinking. Yeah,
Yes.
it's going to open us up to a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah, and that's part of why we were quarantined, is because we are functioning at a slower. I don't think of it as higher, lower. I think of
Right,
it as faster, slower.
right,
And
different.
because we've been functioning at that slower, more dense frequency,
Mm-hmm.
it's been for our safety,
Mm-hmm.
because we weren't ready for people or beings functioning at that faster frequency.
Hmm.
And there are other beings also functioning in the slower frequency that would have taken advantage of us.
Oh, okay. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
And there are some that have.
Hmm.
And that's kind of why we're in the situation we are at
That
the
we're
moment
in.
too.
That we're in. Yeah. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So back to your
Yeah, back to okay.
meditation decks. After a
Yeah.
little side street there.
Yeah. But the meditation decks, I use them personally for a number of different things. I think one of the first things I started using them for is I'd put them in a little plastic bag to protect them, but
Mhm.
I'd set like a glass of water on them to charge them with a different frequency. And then of course I'd charge the charge and clear essential oils and herbs and anything that I was consuming.
Okay. Now, do your decks come with like an instruction booklet?
And there is a small little sheet of paper that comes with it, and some of those suggestions are on them.
Oh,
And
good.
of course, all that information's on my website too.
Okay.
And then now, I've used them I've held them to my body during meditation.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Sat on them. Yeah, I've used them some as well as, and there's been some other people that have done this as well, putting some under the table,
Mm-hmm.
the massage table while doing energy work. Most people that have done that have found, though, particularly to not use more than 3 at a time.
Okay. Are they charged before, do you charge them
Um, they're
before
almost
you
they're naturally
naturally
charged with
charged?
that frequency, with the
Okay.
energy of that. Um, and what else have I done? Oh, some people have slept with them,
Oh, wow.
putting one in the pillow.
Okay.
I personally wouldn't recommend not using more than one at a time of doing
Okay. Okay.
that. And I just in the last, oh, got pushed into doing this by a friend of mine probably about a year ago. I do readings with the deck personally now. I don't, I know, and I'm just kind of learning still, how to do that, but I call them soul growth readings.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And they are more about, where your soul's path and journey at this time,
Mm-hmm.
kind of where you've been, where you are at the moment, and what you need to do to, kind of make that next step.
So it sounds kind of like a past, present, and future kind of reading.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
It is a little bit.
Yeah. It sounds interesting. Um, okay. So you've got your artwork. You sell a lot of your artwork, right? The originals?
Yes, I do. I'm the original pieces there, of course, one of a kind, and I do not reproduce.
Uh-huh.
But the mandalas are available not just in the decks. I also have coloring
You've got one
books.
right back there.
Yeah, and prints.
Yes.
And those are available in a couple of different sizes as well.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
I
So,
think do 8x8s and 12x12s.
so I want you to talk about some of the medium, like you have one behind you that's like 3D, where you have a couple back there that are
Yeah, there's a
3D.
couple back there. There's some back here, like these here messages to different particular archangels.
Okay.
Um, those have a little bit of texture to them, and then there's a glass tube there to put prayers, requests, any questions you might have, anything you'd like to communicate with an archangel about, then you can write on a piece of paper and put it in that tube. There's a few here that also have different stones even attached to them.
Right. That's why I wanted you to talk about it, because you've got
Because
like,
to me, different, we all like to work with our stones, but to me, they're like lenses. They focus different
Mhm.
types of energy. And so this is a way of bringing that healing energy and, and some of that almost the crystal grid type work into
I
your
was just
home.
gonna say, it sounds like a crystal grid kind of thing, but you're putting it in
Uh-huh.
your painting. Yeah, so that's
Yeah,
really
so
cool.
yeah, some of you have, some chakra symbols. They have some, you might have some sacred geometry.
Mm-hmm,
Like, oh, I think that one was actually the kind of the reverse of Metatron's cube.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But yeah, and there's one over here with the flower of life. Yeah, so I'd like to play with different symbols from from a lot of the different faiths. But there's one over here, a large one with the Egyptian ankh and turquoise,
Oh wow.
and then
Oh, wow.
carnelian in it. Because
Wow.
I think if I turn just a
There we
little
can see it.
bit, there you can
Whoa.
see that one.
Wow.
There's I have the wall behind me is from
I
ceiling
was gonna
down
say
clear down to the floor. It is full.
it's your art gallery.
Pretty much, and it's not the only wall in the house.
Well, I was gonna say,
So I have some pieces here that are definitely looking for their forever walls.
oh wow. Oh wow. I was gonna say that's in time for another talk. Maybe we can have a special live, maybe go live and you can show us the gallery and what's for sale. This has really been super interesting. And, I know that we can talk about a whole bunch more stuff. And what we'll do is we'll have you back for another interview.
Okay.
I was going to say, one of the things that I like to ask my guests, I don't ask all of them, but I thought that this might be a good time to, I got nudged to ask you this.
Okay.
If you could, what would you tell your younger self? If you could do that now and go back and tell your
Oh,
younger self.
wow.
Yeah, see, it's a profound question, and I don't want to give you a lot of time to prepare for it, but just,
Hmm.
if you had the chance to tell your younger self something, what would it be?
Don't take yourself too seriously and learn how to draw earlier, because it would have made life so much easier to start sooner.
Well, that's pretty good. That's a good thing to know, and like not to take yourself too seriously. I think a lot of
Yeah,
people
and
do that, you know.
I am one of those people. I tend to overthink things.
Hmm. Yeah, me too.
Uh-huh.
Me too. Well, this has been very informative. I thank you so much for being my guest. And will you please tell people how they can get in touch with you if they want to find out more about your artwork or order some, one of the things that you've got for sale as far as you do with the bowls, you have some.
Yeah, I have recorded 2 CDs, and those are available on physical CDs or available for download. And that is all on my website, which is susanwalterart.com.
Okay, and we
And
can
of
put
course, I'm
that.
on Facebook and Instagram as well.
Okay. Oh, good. We can put that in the information when I post the video. So,
Okay.
yeah. But thank you so much for taking your time today to be my guest. And promise me you'll come back and we'll do
Oh,
another
yes.
interview.
Yeah,
Okay?
anytime. Anytime.
Thank you so much, Susan. Have a good day.
Thank you. You too. Bye.